Emerald Zoysia grass maintenance. We get asked a lot about the maintenance of all the different grasses, and a lot of them are pretty much the watering requirements and the fertilization requirements are pretty close. Some of them may a little bit more, a little bit less. Zoysias in particular, they do grow a little bit slower, so theoretically you're not mowing quite as often. And with the medium textured zoysia like the Palisades, I would say that's absolutely the case. Because of its little bit thicker leaf, the medium texture as opposed to a fine texture, you can get away with mowing it with a rotary mower a little bit easier as long as you have a good sharp blade. The Emerald, on the other hand, it prefers, because of its super dense canopy and its really thin leaves, and those leaves, that foliage is actually pretty tough. As a matter of fact, you walk on a Palisade zoysia and you can it feels kind of spongy and soft under your feet, whereas it's a little more prickly, I would say, that the finer bladed zoysias, at least the Emerald is. Emerald looks its best and performs its best when it's mowed off at about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. But to do that, the only way you can do that is if it's mowed with a real mower. The mowers that have the blades and it turns like this, as opposed to the rotary mowers that everybody's used to, that's just got a big blade that spins around in a circle. That's what I mean with the real versus the rotary mower. It does need, they're fairly, zoysias in particular, in general, can be described as fairly drought tolerant, as opposed to a St. Augustine. It's kind of classified, maybe not quite as drought tolerant as a Bermuda grass, but drought tolerant nonetheless. But we take care of our grasses all the same. We recommend 1 inch of water per week during the growing season. Basically, if the grass is green, if it's not falling out of the sky, you need to make sure it gets 1 inch of water a week to look healthy. It can survive on less, but if you want it to look its best, they all require that approximate, a good established grass that's getting full sunlight. It needs about 1 inch of water per week. So we touch on that a little bit. The fertilization requirements for the Emerald, it can be fertilized a little bit more often. We normally recommend that you fertilize every grass at least twice a year. Bermuda grasses maybe 4 to 6 times a year, because they can absorb more fertilizer, and to keep them that pretty dark green color, they're going to take a little bit more fertilizer. And I would say zoysia would be between those somewhere. So maybe three to 4 fertilizations per year to make them look their best and perform well. The lower you're mowing any grass, the more frequently you're going to have to water, though, and the more fertilizer it's going to take, because it's just a little bit more stressful on the grass. And so you're going to have to follow up those mowings with water and fertilizer a little bit more frequently. And if you're going to have them, what they'll survive on and what they're going to thrive at are two different things. But that's what I would say, that is kind of the minimum requirements and the is realistic expectations. Another thing that should be noted about the Emerald zoysia is that it does get several of the zoysias get brown patch, like St. Augustine's. One of the weaknesses of St. Augustine is that it does get brown patch. Palmetto in particular is particularly prone to brown patch, but the Emerald zoysia does. We do see the brown patch, and especially in the fall, pop up in it when we start seeing it in the St. Augustines as well. We see that a little bit more frequently than we see it like in the Palisade zoysia. For some reason, it's susceptible to it, but not as susceptible as the Emerald. So you would need to make your 2 to 3 treatments in the fall with there's lots of products out there. Nitrophos makes a really good one to kind of combat the brown patch in the grass. And I think that kind of touches on the taking care of that grass. Like I said, the Emerald zoysia is a pretty dark green grass. Just needs to be cut shorter, and because of its kind of stronger leaf, thicker leaf, it's a little bit tougher to cut. It dulls lawnmower blades a little bit quicker, so you kind of gotta stay on top of that.